በስመ አብ ወወልድ ወመንፈስ ቅዱስ አሐዱ አምላክ አሜን። በስመ አብ ወወልድ ወመንፈስ ቅዱስ አሐዱ አምላክ አሜን። በስመ አብ ወወልድ ወመንፈስ ቅዱስ አሐዱ አምላክ አሜን። In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. ምዕመናን እና ምዕመናት እንደምን አደራችሁ? እንደምን ሰነበታችሁ? ዛሬ ወንድማችን ዲያቆን ልደቱ ስለ ቅዱስ ያሬድ ታሪክ ያስተምረናል። ስለዚህ በትኩረት ስሙት። Today our brother Diakon Lidetu will be teaching us about the story of Yared. Please listen to him with good intent.
Thank you, Diakon Lynnwood. As he said, today I will be teaching about the life and story of Kadus Yared. So, he was born on April 25th in the year 505 AD in Aksum, or April 17th in Ethiopian calendar. So, when he was about 6 years old, he was taken to the tutorship of Isaac, and he taught kids about like Zemam as we do today. But the Zemam back then isn't as similar as it is today. But when he was teaching him, he had a lot of difficulty to grasp the knowledge that he was being taught. He didn't understand very well, and he would always get punished, and they would get really mad at him for not being able to understand. So in about 6 years, he was kicked out, and so after that, his mother took him to her brother Abba Gideon, hoping that this might be a better change. But he still had difficulty, and he was kicked out once again. So when he was walking back home after he got kicked out, a rainstorm had started to come by, and he went under a tree to seek shelter. And he saw a little caterpillar on the tree, and every time he went all the way up, he would still fall back down, trying to get the leaf. And this caterpillar, it went all the way up and down 6 times. And on the 7th try, it got the leaf, and it got what it wanted to get. But Kadus Yared, he thought to himself that if this little caterpillar can get what he wants, keeping his determination, then so can I. So he went back to Abba Isaac, and he asked for forgiveness to let him stay back. And Kadus Yared, he asked God so that he would give him intelligence, so that he would be able to grasp the knowledge. And God had given him insight about the knowledge that he wanted. He gave him intelligence, and soon he was able to preach about the Old Testament and the New Testament in a short time. And after Abba Gideon had died, he was able to teach the other kids at an age of 14. So a little while after this, in his early 20s, 3 angels, disguised as birds, had sang to him, and they said this: "Oh, formed, honored, and full of grace, praised be the womb that you came from, praised be the breasts that you took from." So when Kadus Yared was listening to this, he was so mesmerized, and the birds had carried him to heaven, and they took him to where the 24 celestial angels are, as you see in the Selassie picture. So when he was brought back, after he listened to the praises that they were singing to God, he sang to the chief priest, and he sang this: Wazema And he sang this to the chief priest, and he was so amazed. So, as you know, God gave Kadus Yared an amazing voice, and the king heard about how Kadus Yared had a good voice, and he wanted to hear for himself. So Kadus Yared went up to the king, and he started singing to him, praising God. And Kadus Yared, when he was singing, the king took his spear and he stabbed him in the foot. But he was so mesmerized in his praises that he didn't even realize that he was stabbed until after he was done praising. And after he was done, the king realized what he had done was wrong. So he asked him for forgiveness. He said, "What will I do for you? Please forgive me." And he said, "Let me preach through all the land so that I will be able to show others my knowledge." Because at that time he was only able to preach to the small land that they were living in. So he became a missionary soon after that. And he was also, as well as a missionary, he was a composer of hymns. So he preached from place to place, withstanding the cold and the heat. And he stayed at St. Mary Church in Zaramba Mountain. And along the way, he had gained disciples that taught people St. Yared's hymns and songs. And he also originated the system of education. And this system had it was split into 4 sections. The first section was Nivavbit, which is simple reading. The second one was Zemavit, which is music and hymns. The third section was Enevit, which was poetry. And the fourth was Mezahbit, which is the study of interpretation of the Bible. And on this mountain, Mount Zaramba, he'd written 5 books. These 5 books were Degwa, which was for hymns and songs of Yared; Soma Degwa, which was about fast and sung during fast, like the Great Lent or Ali Som that we are reading right now. The third book was Meraf. The fourth book was Zimare, which is for after communion, so that we can honor the communion that we have received. And the fifth book was Mawasit, which is for funerals or Easter Eve. And you can't just, sing these without proper rules. There were 3 types of Zema that you sung these songs in. And they were Izim, Giz, and Ararai. Can you guys say it with me? Giz, Izim, and Ararai. Good job. So, Idris Yared, as a kid, he wasn't able to grasp the knowledge that he was being taught. But since he prayed to God and had faith in God, he was able to learn in a quick time what he wanted to learn and preach to others the faith and knowledge that he had gained. So, thank you for listening. I will now be asking some follow-up questions. What did you guys take away from the life of Idris Yared? If you guys remember anything. Yeah, but what did you learn? What good things did you learn that you took away from this? Goodness. Can you repeat that louder? Good job. And the second question was, what are the 3 types of Zema that we said earlier? Raise your hand if you guys know. Yeah. Good job. Again, thank you for listening.
ወንድማችን ልጃችን ዲያቆን ልደቱ እንዲሁም ዲያቆን ልዑል ሕፃናቱን በማስተማር በመትጋት በማጥናት እዚህ ቀርበው ቃለ እግዚአብሔር ስላስተማሩ ቃለ ሕይወትን ያሰማልን፣ ቃለ ሕይወትን ያሰማልን፣ በቤቱ ያሳድግልን። እንደምታዩት ከቀን ወደ ቀን እያሻሻሉ እንደሆነ ይገባቸዋል አይደል? ከጊዜ ወደ ጊዜ እያሻሻሉ ይበልጡ ደግሞ ለማቅረብ የተዘጋጁበትን መርጃ መሳሪያ ሁሉ በመተው ዘወር እያሉ ምን ያክል ዝግጅት አድርገው እያጠኑ እየቀረቡ እንዳለ ትመለከታላችሁ። እጅግ በጣም የሚያበረታታ ነው። ሌሎችንም እንደዚህ ያበረታናቸው ብርቱዎች እንዲሆኑና በአባቶች ፈንታ ልጆች ተወለዱልሽ እንዳለ ልበ አምላክ ቅዱስ ዳዊት በአባቶች ፈንታ የሚተኩ ልጆችን እግዚአብሔር ይፍጠርልን። ልጆችን የሚያሳድግልን ክፉ አይንካቸው።